Part of the healing process is to receive sympathy and empathy and just a listening ear for the pain that you experience. God instructs us in 1 Peter 3:8, finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. So I'm asking you to share at your table just one or two of the biggest things you resent. Again, all of this is going to be confidential, correct? Now be even more courageous and ask God to show you some of your own defects of character, past or present. Won't that be fun? I want to just give you some examples, nothing, because probably none of you could even think of a defect. It could be something like pride, or gossip, or envy, or dishonesty, complaining, a critical spirit, sexual sin, bossiness, self-centeredness, gluttony, drunkenness, being judgmental, and the list goes on, right? Romans 12:3 says, I say to everyone among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think with sober judgment. And of course, Matthew 7:3, a fairly familiar verse. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? So, this is going to be so much fun right now, you guys, she said, tongue-in-cheek. Write down at least 3 moral failures from your past. I know some of you are like, I cannot think of a one. Seriously, I've just been praying while you were getting ready for this, that you would actually do a fearless inventory of your own defects. So I want you to list 3 moral failures of your past and 3 current flaws, things you struggle with. Does everyone have at least 1 moral failure from the past? Okay, does everyone have at least 1 flaw currently? Okay, good. So now we're going to go to step number 3, which is super duper fun. You know what's coming, don't you? This is super duper fun. So here we go. Are you ready for step number 3? Be super courageous and admit your own defects to another person, because this develops humility in you. It has to. 1 Peter 5:5 says, clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility toward one another, for God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So you can almost see how this is going to work, right? Because if you have to tell someone else your moral failures of the past, and especially, because it's maybe easier to say, well, that was the old me. But then if you have to say that this is something you're currently struggling with, or a kind of a sin that you tend to get tripped up by or whatever, whoo, that has to develop humility in you, right? I mean, it has to, because it's like hard to do. No one wants to do this stuff. But it's super important, because it does start to bring you off of your high horse looking down at a horrible, despicable person that you resent, when you realize, oh, maybe I'm not perfect either. Here is step number 4, which is kind of bringing this all together up to this point. So step number 4 is to admit that both you and the person you resent are spiritually sick. Both of you are spiritually sick and in need of grace. Right? Don't you want grace for your